Hello, and welcome to another edition of the CatCast with your host, as always, Cat Kennison, here to bring you another spectacular podcast. Maybe. Anyways, we got Boba up here right now. That's my gray cat. She'll say hi to you guys real quick. She's in the dark there. I'm going to put a light on her. That is Boba right there. Oh, now she's a little too bright. Be careful, she'll start yelling at you like that one lady that was running for governor, Katie Porter, out in California. Get that light off me! It looks awful! Alright. Anyways, we're going to go back to our podcast talk here. We'll leave the light on her so you can see her over there. We just need to put it back a lot. Anyways, I'm glad to have you all with us today. It's a great day to be alive and to be podcasting, that's for sure. And we're going to continue with our topic on religion, because it is continuing to inspire Kat to talk about. So my main thing I want to talk about today, after reading responses, I'm going to read responses, but the point I want to make right here in the beginning is that what somebody said here about Abraham was the most important. That struck Kat, and I'm like, you're right, Abraham. Abraham is what connects us all. And so maybe we should all just worship the God of Abraham and forget about all the other stuff. And then we'll be worshiping probably the truest God. Now that probably is difficult for a lot of people to think. But me just using my my brain on it, the God of Abraham is the God that we all worship. And what it seems we fight about is all the stuff that's later on, which makes me think that's man created, because it took man time to corrupt the religion into religions. Understand what I'm saying? And we don't know which one is true, and maybe it's none of them. Has anybody thought about that? What if they're all corrupted? Right? Brain. But from what I'm hearing, Muslims don't believe that there's any corruption in their word. And my question now is, why? And we're going to dive right into that. But it seems like they don't think there's any corruption. And when we just know, to think that there is none at all to Kat is almost impossible to believe. Like the odds of it being exactly right to Kat is hard to believe. I'm not saying it's unbelievable. It's just up there with very, very implausible. But that's just a person looking at it from an outside perspective that has already seen corruption in their religion. And so that's what I'm getting around to. I hate to be so slow. I like to be talking and exporting it, but sometimes I'm like thinking at the same time about what I'm trying to say, because I don't want to offend anybody. I'm trying to, again, just come at this from an open mind, but with already having biases built into me because of my upbringing and because of what I feel my God is like, which most people would say, well, feeling is not what you should go by. But what if it's God putting that feeling in me that this is not right all the way? It's incredibly fascinating, isn't it? to think about what might be misinterpreted, what might be mistruths or because they bring up the age of the person and how that could be mistaken, but nothing else is. Okay, let's dive right in. We've had enough introduction. We're ready to start this baby. Again, I want to thank everybody for their comments, and it keeps fascinating me with the responses that we're getting. So we're going to start right off with our buddy. I'm just going to go 9185 because he hasn't given me a name to call him by that I can easily pronounce, and I'm tired of telling you guys all the letters. So 9185 says, in short and simple way, the Quran is Allah's words and messages. The Hadith is the Prophet teachings and instructions. Okay. So one is from God and one is from the Prophet, right? The Quran is supposed to be Allah then, and the Hadith is the teachings from the prophets. Okay? That's nice. I'll give that a thumbs up, baby. Then we have 9185. The Quran is recorded in more than 700 manuscripts from the time of the Prophet, and you can verify that easily with ChatGPT. We have also the Birmingham manuscript in UK, and we have on top of a chain of memories from the time of the Prophet till today. Today we have more than 10 million, by the way, word by word. All this effort just to protect the message for us and for you. You can ask ChatGPT about the chain. Also, we rely on it, not on the manuscripts, although it's the same thing. So the chain sounds like people telling the stories, right? And then the manuscript is written down. And there have been no changes, you're saying, between those. But again, I don't know how a person can memorize an entire book. I guess you can if you read it a lot. And I know you can memorize passages and chapters and verses, but an entire book a person would memorize and then pass that down? I don't know about that one. Not everybody can. You'd have to have an eidetic memory to do that. Not many people have eidetic memories, or you see something and then it's basically imprinted in your head forever. I mean, there are people that can remember the day of the week of whatever you ask them the day, and they'll tell you what day of the week it was. That's a memory like most people do not have. It's very rare type of memory. So I have questions again. I know you guys believe it's all. What is the evidence that it has never been changed? Like we've got the Dead Sea Scrolls to show there are changes, in the Bible. So I still have the question about how you just, it's never been altered, it's never been worked. How do you know? You're just going by faith, right? I mean, you need to tell me how you know. You need to tell, and just because there's 700 of them, again, that doesn't mean a ton to me, because there were lots of copies of the Bible too. If they're all been manipulated, then it doesn't matter that there's a ton of them, because they've all got the same stuff in it, just like the Bible, if you understand what I'm saying. And they were real, people wanted to get rid of certain stuff and delete it from history, and only because of the Dead Sea Scrolls do we have that knowledge today. What if the Muslims were better at making sure they got rid of all that stuff? Not saying that it did. I'm just saying it's possible. All right, let's continue. Cats are fighting here. Yeah. Playing, fighting, whatever. One's going on the porch. All right, let's keep moving on here from 9185. It's consistent with all the prophets in the Old Testament. There is a tension from some people to make them look bad at one point. We don't believe that, and we believe that there are many of them who killed prophets and were really ungrateful. We don't believe what they said about Lot and his daughters, of course, Solomon, Jacob, Jesus later. Wait, but you don't believe that Jesus was the Son of God either, or and is he a prophet? Is Jesus? You said he was a. Is he a messenger like Muhammad? See, I still have questions about why does any of it really matter? You know, if we're praying to the same God of Abraham, why does the stuff later matter? Does anybody wonder that, or just Cat? I'm like, if we got rid of, let's say everything from Muhammad was destroyed, everything from Jesus was destroyed, would we all be worshiping the same God of Abraham? I believe yes. I may be the only one that believes that. But all the stuff that happens later, it seems like people want to fight over that. And does it even matter if we're worshiping the same God? Does that make sense to anybody? I mean, if we follow the 10 Commandments that Moses brought down, and when I pray now, I make a point to say I'm praying to one God. I'm adding that into my prayer now. And I'm praying to one God, God the Father. I've added it into my prayer now because you guys have me all freaked out that we're polytheism instead of mono. So I'm like, God, I want you to know I'm only praying to you. I'm making it very clear now. I'm only praying to God the Father, okay, and the God of Abraham. I'm going to make that real clear too. And I would hope that God would understand that I'm praying to the one that I believe is the true Lord. I hope he would understand that, if that makes sense to you guys. Let's continue. 9185 again. He likes to do a separate. I'm going to give a thumbs up on that one though. I'm not giving a thumbs up though on the one about the Chat GPT. I'm telling you, AI is garbage, and I don't trust it. It's programmed by people who can program biases into it, and I don't trust it. So please don't keep recommending Chat GPT. I don't like it. I can't stand these things with AI voices now. When you see a new commercial now or anything, it's freaking AI voice, and I can read it right off. I hate it. There's no inflection. There's no change in tempo. There's just a computerized voice that doesn't sound like the old ones that used to be really stupid. Would you like to go to the movies or come out later? Where the expressions are. It doesn't do that. But that is even better than what this new AI crap does. I can't stand it. So, and they're getting ready to have a fight out there. All three cats going to go out there? Nope, she says, I'm in if you're going out. All right, we will continue. I hate to get off into tangents. Islam started with Adam because the word means submission to God, and all prophets were Muslim by definition. Why? See, right, just by saying that, it sounds like you want to exclude other people that believe with something else. Why are all prophets Muslim by definition? What does the word Muslim mean? Prophet or what? Submitting their will to God, and they are best human that ever walked on earth in righteousness. And they are the best human that ever walked on earth in righteousness. I don't understand that statement. You mean the people that submit their will to God? But if we are whatever religion we are, we're all submitting our will to God, right? Christians do that. I believe Jews do that. And it sounds like you're saying Muslims do that. We all submit our will to God, right? So try not to separate everybody out the way you're saying it, because we all do the same things, really. I'm really trying to hammer down on the differences and not the things that are the same about our religion. We need to get to the differences. The things that are the same we both agree on. Why are we talking about them? I don't understand. We submit our will to God as well. All right, let's continue. 610 AD is the date when Allah started sending the revelations to the prophet. Before that, he was known to be trustworthy in the community. He was 40 years old at that time. It's strange to me that he didn't become a prophet until the age of 40. Now, Jesus did not start his teachings until the age of 30, but we can go back, and the whole time he was doing things, talking about God and doing things that were, I don't know if you want to say miracles created by God or what, but are you saying Jesus wasn't trustworthy in the community? I guess you're not saying that. Why would Allah wait so long to send these revelations? I mean, why wasn't he talking to Moses? I mean, right? So that doesn't make sense either. You contradicted yourself right there. He was talking to Moses. He gave him the Ten Commandments. If that's not revelations, I don't know what it is. I'm lost now on this point you made. I'm going to have to give you a thumbs down until you get back to me on it, 9185. And I don't know what you mean about Adam means submission. You mean the word means submission? Okay. That's fine. I saw something interesting. I don't know if I'm going to read it this time, but somebody had said something about the Garden of Eden, that they weren't punished for eating the apple. I'm like, whoa, that's a big change. I did not know about that one. So you guys want to enlighten Kat more on that? That would be interesting, for sure. Okay. She is not mentioned in the Quran by name or her age. It's part of the Prophet's life. The age is irrelevant to the message, and for your knowledge, she became a scholar on Islam later. There is a lot of misunderstanding in her age, but if you want my opinion, which is irrelevant to the message also, she was between 15 and 19 years old. Side note, we honor and admire her so much for what she did to teach Islam to women and the community, because she was still young after the Prophet. Most of the Prophet teachings, hadith, came through her by the way. It's interesting how you keep saying that it's not important to the message, that her age is irrelevant. Maybe, but it's not irrelevant to the character of the prophet. Okay? This all comes back to the character of the prophet. Okay? And that's what it's all about. I don't know if you understand, but most people that know about Islam, this is the biggest sticking point of all. So when you guys blow it off and say it's irrelevant, that is a big deal to people, because it's not irrelevant. Because, like I said, a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, nobody around here thinks that's okay. Okay, now 15 to 19, okay, we're talking. Okay, now it's better. But why the heck did this 6 and 9 thing even come up? Somebody put it in a book somewhere, and they're going with it. And you keep telling us that everything is the truth, It's absolute. Well, that wasn't in the Quran. That was somewhere else. But if we're supposed to believe that the Quran is so correct, why are we not supposed to believe this other thing? You can't keep blowing it off and say it's not a big deal. You need to dive in, and we need to find out what her real age was, and enough with this stuff, because it's a big deal from 9 to 15 and 19. That's a huge deal. Okay, we all understand back in the day you didn't live as long, so, you would get with someone sooner probably, but not before puberty. Okay? And the thing I read yesterday was about whether the person is even old enough to consent to what they're going to be doing. Now, you're saying after the fact it was all good. But that's after she's been with the person for a long time. And, of course, you become accustomed to it and it's no big deal. So after the fact is not what we're talking about. You can't blow this off because this is the major point that everyone has an issue with. Okay? I'll go to Christianity right now. They wanted Jesus to be celibate. I don't believe he was. I believe Mary Magdalene was his wife, and they made her into a prostitute because they wanted him to be celibate. Okay? And then they tell all the priests, you got to be celibate too in the Catholic religion, and then you get all those people that should not be priests becoming priests. Okay? All from a thing, but they twisted about Jesus. Okay? Now, maybe this thing is twisted about Muhammad, is what I'm wondering. But you guys can't blow it off like it doesn't mean it, like it's irrelevant. Because it is. It comes back to the character of Muhammad. Okay? You can't say he's a trustworthy guy if he's marrying a 6-year-old. Okay? Do you get what I'm saying? I'm trying not to raise my voice. I'm trying to stay calm. But my goodness, you said twice it's irrelevant. Let's move on. I'm not going to give that a thumbs up. I'm not going to give it anything. I'm not doing a thumbs down it either, because we don't know. But we know everything else is the truth. How? Tell me how, please. Like, here's the way you prove things now. You write them down, you mail them to yourself, and it gets postmarked and it's sealed, and then you know, and then somebody see the date, and then you could open it and say and prove. But what you're saying is proof is stuff where these manuscripts that have been around for thousands of years. Well, we don't know, though, if those were adjusted. You've got a lot of faith in that they're the Word of God. We don't know. Somehow you know, though. I cannot wait to get to heaven, though. And if I get there, if I'm right or if I'm wrong, I will be right there to apologize to every one of you guys. Just want you to know if I'm wrong about it. Well, if I'm wrong, I'll probably be down in hell, right? Even though I don't think that's right. Why should I be punished when actually I'm trying to learn which one is the truth? And it's impossible to tell. So God will punish me. You should have known. You shouldn't have known which one is the truth. How? How am I supposed to know 2,000 years later when people lie all over the place? They lie right now on TV, right to your face. They're liars, you know? All right. Let's continue. This is from another person, finally. Not 9185. This is Bulkuning BK. BULUKUCING_BK. We'll call him Burger King. Burger King says, I want to answer many things, but I don't know why my comments are invisible or missing in YouTube. Huh. What did you say? Something controversial? That's weird. Don't know why they're disappearing. I didn't do anything. Ask YouTube about it, BK. Here we have another one from, apparently some of them are showing up because here's from BK again. In Islam, we believe evidence and reasoning, then comes faith. So it's okay to ask any question about it. You can also research scientific facts and history facts in Quran. Well, I'll give that a thumbs up. Let's give that one a thumbs up. Come on. Can I give it a thumbs up? Won't let me. Won't let me give you a thumbs up, BK. I apologize. But so I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Evidence and reasoning. Then comes faith. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's go with Stay Blessed 0121. Why won't it let anything? There we go. We're covering a lot of ground. I agree with Quadrup that the other topics haven't been finished yet, but we can just leave doubt floating about. Even this, though, we need more clarification than just my message. The Quran and Hadith are separate. They are full Quranic manuscripts that date back to the Prophet's lifetime or shortly after it. Okay, but there's no doubt in the preservation of the Quran. Their oral tradition also matters, though. There are millions of Muslims who have memorized the entire Quran and many more who have memorized portions of it. This is a tradition that goes back to the Prophet and helped preserve the Quran, the actual Word of God. All right. Well, I don't know. That's amazing. That's really amazing. All right. As for hadiths, these are the sayings of the Prophet and also contain information like Ashiya's, may Allah be pleased with her age, with her, and then that's in parentheses, and then age. The hadiths aren't preserved the same way as the Quran. There is a rigorous method in order to call a hadith sound, shalah. There are 5 main criteria, which is continued chain of narration, where each heard from the next, good character and memory of all narrators, the hadith being free from any hidden flaws or irregularities, and the text of hadith not contradicting any stronger. Sound hadith, the chain of narration must not have any missing link or any anonymous narrator. Each narrator has biographs and historical accounts about them that must show that they've never lied. If they've ever have been found to lie in any aspect of their life, then their narration would be rejected, and they must be generally victorious. Their entire lives and behavior would be documented, then scrutinized. They must be known to have an excellent memory. Scholars dictated their lives to traveling, collecting narrations, and scrutinizing the backgrounds and reputation of every person in the chain of narration. The information was compiled into biography dictionaries, which later scholars used to determine the authenticity of a hadith based on the reliability of every single link in its chain. I'll give you a thumbs up. I appreciate all the information there. That's a lot to absorb. And we're running out of time. I like it all, but I need proof of all that. But I like what you told me. But then to have proof of it is also difficult. Nowadays, people's lives can be, look at Jesus. They lied about him. So the fact that you guys can do this would say that anybody that might be telling the truth, theirs could be pushed out because if you don't like it. So that's kind of why I have an issue with what you just wrote there. Sounds great, but in reality, I know what goes on. Okay? So you guys are so convinced that yours is the truth, but the Bible's all flawed like crazy, it sounds like. And you're going to have to make your case on that one. Why is yours so true and the Bible is not? I need to know that. Because, like I said, you can say all kinds of things about people that aren't true, and then their book's not going to get in there. Their stuff, and it may be true, but you don't like what they say, so you make them out to be bad. It's done all the time nowadays. I mean, look at Donald Trump. All right? So, yeah. That's why people eagerly want to read Quran, and it's telling you historical events and stories, previous prophets, so we can learn from them. And this is from Ya Tawheed Makes Sense. You're getting info from God Logic? Question mark? I don't know what that is. I'm not getting any information from anything but YouTube or Google, and then my own beliefs, and then what people write in. Other than that, I don't know what God Logic is. So I'll just tell him no. No, don't know what that is. If you watch this, he'll be able to help us more, because I don't know what that is. What I love most and strengthens my faith are the story of Ashiya, the wife of Pharaoh. May Allah be pleased with her. A sum of important figure in Islam, you should read it. That's the one who saved baby Moses, peace be upon him, from Pharaoh, and also raised him as her son. Give that a thumbs up. Well, yeah, we believe that same story, but it's probably different from how you guys have it told. You might want to tell me the changes, because, like I said, you guys said he struck the rock and everything was fine, and ours says he gets in trouble and never makes it to the promised land. How come he didn't make it to the promised land if in yours, if he wasn't punished for hitting the rock? Why was he not allowed to see the Did he just die of old age? Or that'd be an interesting thing for you to tell, Kat. Well, they wrote that twice for some reason. And the last one we got here, we're going to finish on time. That's why people eagerly want... Oh, I already read that one. It's God telling you history and stories of previous prophets so people will learn from them, and you can test it academically about the miracles of the Quran. I don't know if we can test them now, but, I'll definitely be researching more, because this topic is fascinating, and I can't stop talking about it. I hope you guys are enjoying these podcasts. We're going to wrap it up here. This has been a good one. I enjoy the feedback. Please keep educating Kat. I will continue to try to make my points known as well. And we'll continue this dialogue because, again, it gives Kat's hair standing up, goosebumps. You can really see the goosebumps there. I don't know if you can see that, but I got goosebumps. I believe that God likes what we're doing here. He's like, hey, you're talking about me. Maybe people don't have it all right, but at least it's creating dialogue. And I believe that makes him happy. As long as we don't fight. That's what it's all about. Don't fight with your brothers in God. It's what I'm about. It's about love. I think our God is about love, not hate. And that's what I preach. And I want, whether it's Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, I want us all to love each other. I think that's what God wants. And it's hard to disagree with that. Why would he create us to have us? Would he want us fighting over him? Would our God want us fighting about this over him? I don't think so. He'd want us to love each other. And that's just Kat's opinion. All right? But I'm very open to hearing everybody else's, okay? We will do this again. Cha-ba-cha. That's pretty much it. I love you guys. It's been a good one. I will see you tomorrow. Peace out, baby. Cha-ba-cha.